Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I am Islamuddin, the course instructor for the engineering management. This is the first online lecture of this subject. If you remember from the last lectures that we were delivering face to face, there we discussed briefly what engineering management is about. We defined the profession engineering, then we defined management, and finally we defined engineering management in context. Henry Fayol, who was a mining engineer, he has basically defined 6 primary functions of management. To broadly categorize, we can say that there are 4 primary functions of any management, but Henry Fayol has divided the management tasks into 6 primary functions. These include forecasting, planning, organizing, commanding, coordinating, leading, and controlling, which also include feedback and adjustment. But the 4 primary functions of management are planning, where forecasting is a sub part of the planning, then organizing, leading, and controlling, where the rest may be placed under these 4 primary functions. So these are the main functions that management carries, and especially the engineering management, which include planning, leading, organizing, and controlling. Planning, which include further forecasting, and we have already discussed what do we mean by forecasting. Then setting objectives, action planning, administering policies, and establishing procedures. So this is part of the planning of the management function, where the manager, the engineering manager, first forecasts different aspects of the project. Then he sets objectives, very clear objectives for the project, and defines the action plans, that how he will carry the different tasks, and this is pre-planned during the planning phase. Then administering policies, he may devise some policies for the project, and establishing procedure, that are the action procedures, that how he will carry out the actual task on the project. Next is the organizing, that is selecting organizational structure. The manager defines and selects the organizational structure that he is compatible with. Then he delegates, establishes a working relationship between the different organizational units. So all these can be subcategorized in the organizing phase or organizing task. Then one of the most important tasks of any manager is leading, and which includes deciding, that is, he has to decide on various aspects, which may include financial as well as the planning and organizing aspects. Communicating, that is how effectively he communicates to his staff. Motivating, that is motivating the staff to actively participate in the project, in the task, in the action plan. And selecting / developing people, that is what we can say is assigning a specialized task to specialized people, and for that purpose he has to continuously perform the developing activities of the staff through human resource management. And then last but not the least is controlling, that is setting performance standards, evaluating, documenting, and correcting performance. So all the controlling related tasks are performed by the management, and these may include setting a standard, that is, he already sets the standards, and all the work or all the tasks are performed or carried out according to the predefined or already set standards. and the different documenting tasks, evaluation tasks, and the different on time correcting measures has to be decided by the manager, and all these are categorized under the controlling task. So these are the primary functions of any engineering management. What the skills for the technical managers are, the main skills that are required for any technical managers are number one, of course, administrative skills, then leadership skills and technical skills. These three are the main skills that are required for a successful technical manager. He need to be having a good knowledge of the technical aspects of the organization that he is managing or the project that he is actually managing. He must have very good administrative skills and leadership skills as well. Enterprise objective, that is what we call value addition. First of all, we say that management speak how increase sales revenue, new and enhanced products or services faster, better, cheaper to create greater customer satisfaction. So the management continuously strive to enhance his product according to the market demand. He has to add values to the product. He has to add such values that his competitors in the market, existing competitors in the market, does not offer, and these additions need to be faster. He need to be a faster manager, that is, he need to add values to the products or services very fast. These products these values that he adds to the products or services need to be better and cheaper as well, and this will of course create greater customer satisfaction, and by this way he can increase the sales revenue for his organization. At the same time, he has to strive to reduce cost to do business. How does he do it? The different aspects of reducing costs may include simplified product design. He has to simplify the design of the product. New technologies. He must be aware of the new technologies that come into the market, and as a result of the deployment of these technologies, the cost of the product or services is reduced. Improved productivity, that is the management skills add values to the productivity. Raised efficiency, that is efficiently managing different aspects. And reduced inventory via supply chains. Of course, the supply chains need to be easily accessible, that is very simple, and new production and marketing partnerships and alliances, and at the same time he may pursue some partnerships and alliances with other products or service providers in the market. By this way he can reduce costs to the business. Next is engineering speak. If he is a technical manager, that is, he also possesses technical skills, then efficiency, accomplishing tasks with the least amount of resources, may be termed as efficiency. He needs to be efficient manager. If he is a technical manager, he needs to be efficient as well. What do you mean by efficient manager? That he performs or accomplishes the tasks with the least effort. And by the least effort, I mean with the least amount of resources. And different resources are financial, time, equipment or facilities, technology, know-how, procedure, and process skills. That is, he must do things right. He must do things quickly. He must do things while reducing the cost, and he must do things while increasing the sales revenue of the organization. And at the same time, effectiveness is an important factor, that is accomplishing tasks with efforts commensurate with the I can't see it anyway, but that is, he has to be effective while accomplishing tasks, and these skills make any manager as a value-added manager, and he can be termed as an efficient manager. Managerial decision making. So, how does managers make decisions? What, where, who, how? Managers faces numerous and challenging decisions, and these may include these possible questions like what, where, who, and how. So, what resources he need to employ, where to employ, who does he select in his organization, and how does he define his organizational structure, and the how does he devises his policy procedures, his policy planning and action tasks, and how does he define the standards, how does he sets standards. So the managers faces these numerous and challenging decisions. So decision making qualities: knowledge, information, and decision making skills. These are required for any good or successful manager. Beware of our weakness. Of course, we are poor at learning from the past. So, how to improve our management intuition or management insight? So, should fully utilize past information to update both current beliefs and future predictions. So, according to a quote, we are active learners but tend to filter information to confirm our opinions. Actually, this statement means that if we want to be successful in a management profession, then we must learn from the past. And this is a very good thing to learn from the past and to correct the measures or to correct the things that that gone wrong in the past. So we are active learners, of course we are, but tend to filter information to confirm our opinions. So if we are, in a dilemma that we stick to our opinions or we consider our opinions to be the best, then this is probably a weakness of a good manager. He cannot be termed as a good manager if he is not learning from the past. So draw unbiased insights about the current state of the world from available data. We are frequently poor observational statisticians. That is, we have to allocate our time and dedicate some efforts to analyze the data that is available to us. But generally, the managers don't do it very frequently. So the two tasks that are very important need to be performed for a good manager. Number one, he must consider the past or the information from the past, and he must take into consideration the data, the market data that is available. So the analysis of the data is the need for a good manager. Conservation bias. Reluctant to give up prior beliefs about the world even in light of new information, revision of beliefs towards right direction is often insufficient. That is why we can say that we most of the time are conservationally biased. So we need to do the things right without biasing or without taking or without assigning weightage to our biases. So we must be factual and we must stick to the relevant facts and data that is available in the field, and we must be able to analyze the data and then we must be able to make decisions that are the most appropriate based on the available data, based on the data from the past, and not the decision should not be biased. The different learnable skills for managers are management knowledge and skills like operational, strategic, financial, accounting, interpersonal skills, and communications, etc. Of course, these are the most basic skills that are required for any manager. Like, he must be aware of the different operational procedures as well as the strategic procedures, and he must be aware of the different financial and accounting constraints, the budget that is allocated for the project, and the different financial and accounting constraints that goes side by side with the budget. He must be aware, and he must be able to efficiently manage the financial resources, and he must have strong interpersonal and communication skills to effectively communicate the different decisions and the different tasks and the different operational strategies, or that is what we call the standards, to the employees from time to time. And similarly, the decision making skills and tools, what if analysis, risk analysis, problem solving, root cause analysis, decision tree, and optimization, etc., are the important factors of effective decision making. So a good manager has to learn the different decision making skills that include what if analysis. What if something happens like that, then what? So this is called a what if analysis. He must be able to perform the risk analysis. If he is going to apply some decisions based on some facts or based on his opinions, then he must analyze the different decisions for the risk factors, and the different problem solving skills, the different root cause analysis, the decision tree, and of course the most important is the optimization. It is the optimal allocation of different resources to perform the task. And by optimum we means in the best efficient way allocation of the different resources. By resources I mean human resources, capital or financial resources, physical resources, and informational resources. So these are the different learnable skills that are required for a good manager. Similarly, Frederick Winslow Taylor has defined principles of scientific management. These are replace rule of thumb work methods with method based on a scientific study of the tasks. Rule of thumb work methods are actually the methods that as the manager finds fit or finds appropriate or just like good to implement based on some predefined principles or some predefined practices within or outside the organization. So Frederick actually tells that we should replace these practices or these work methods with the methods based on a scientific study of the tasks. That is, the manager must first study these different tasks scientifically and then define or outline the work methods. So they should be based on a scientific study. Scientifically select, train, and develop each worker rather than passively leaving them to train themselves. So he actually stresses the need for the systematic and scientific training of the human resources rather than leaving them to develop or train themselves. So there must be a well-organized and scientific training procedure in place for the human resources of the organization. And this is, of course, that is the task of the manager or the management. cooperate with the workers to ensure that the scientifically developed methods are being followed. So he must cooperate with the employees, the workers, and this will contribute to the already developed scientific methods to be efficiently followed and implemented. And he must divide the work nearly equally between managers and workers, and this is required or this is necessary for the satisfaction among the human resources, among the employees. So these are the principles of scientific management as outlined by Frederick Winslow Taylor. So the different knowledge and skills and decision making tool that we already discussed, and appreciation of management issues and complexities in implementing a decision. So we will see how the different tasks or how the different functions of management work. So first of all, let's talk about planning functions of management, and these include project scheduling and project budgeting and selection. So these two subtasks are included in the planning function of the management. Next is organizing. That is the strategic decision making and game theory, which we will see in detail. Leading, incentives and productivity. It is the principal agent theory that we will see in detail. And controlling, that is the project management and performance evaluation or corrective measurements, corrective actions. So the different project managements, these are something like you can see in diagrams that how and what and when a manager should do. So you can try to understand the different phenomenon. A decision making example, Gilbert and Mostiller's marriage problem. Suppose you decide to marry and to select your life partner. You will interview at most 100 candidate spouses. The interviews are arranged in random order and you have no information about candidates you haven't yet spoken to after each interview. You must either marry that person or forever lose the chance to do so. Of course, this is not a very prevailing practice in our society, but just to let you know about how a decision is made, they are just quoting this marriage example. Like in foreign countries, normally they first meet with each other and get to know each other, and they get a chance either to accept or reject each other, and the attempt may go to 100 times. So this is how the prevailing practices are in foreign countries. If you have not married after interviewing candidate 99, after 99 interviews, if you have not yet decided or if you have not yet married, then you must marry candidate number 100. If there is a strict restriction, that is what we call a constraint, that at most you can interview 100 candidate spouses. So 100 is the last number. Beyond that, you cannot go. So if you are not married after interviewing 99 candidates, then you must marry candidate number 100. So your objective, of course, is to marry the absolute best candidate of the lot. Of the available hundreds, you have to marry the best candidates. So that is the objective of this project or this decision making principle. So if you have not married the already interviewed 99 candidates, and as the constraint is put that you cannot interview more than 100, then you must marry the candidate number 100. So beware of our weakness. We are myopic. What do we mean by that? If we isolate a single critical fault in human abilities to act as efficient decision makers, it is that we do not think ahead. That is, we must not concentrate on minor faults of humans. That is, if a human commits some faults in decision making process, So, and if we isolate that single critical fault, then it is that we do not think ahead. So we are often unable to look ahead more than one period or step. We normally look into the coming or the next step, and we do not normally, as a practice prevails, look behind the next step. So a good manager must always look into the future, look into the different coming phases or steps. So these are our weaknesses. Heuristic versus analysis. What is heuristic? A technique to solve a problem with a good but not necessarily optimal solution. So heuristics are solutions to the problem that are good. That is, you solve the problem with your effort and you find a good solution to the problem, but the solution may not always be optimal. That is, it may not be the best solution to the problem. So these approaches are called heuristic approaches. So based on experiences, hunches or instincts and judgments, you perform or you propose a solution to a problem, but this heuristic solution is not optimal or best solution. Then we have analytical solutions. Formulate the decision model for the problem. First of all, you formulate the decision model for the problem and then use up computer and other tools to conduct an extensive and thorough analysis to produce an optimal solution. Nowadays we have different software packages available in computer that you can use in different tools to find the optimal solution to the problem. But for that purpose, you must first need to mathematically model the problem. Once you model the problem mathematically, then you input this mathematical model to the tool, to the analyzing tool by the use of the modern computers, and the tool actually finds the optimal solution to the problem. So a good manager has to analyze things and find optimal solution to the problems. But sometimes if the time is limited and you cannot dedicate much time, first of all, to model the problem mathematically and then find the optimal solution, then of course you can apply a heuristic solution to the problem, which is not optimal. So when do heuristics work well? Optimal answers are often obvious. Of course, optimal answers or optimal solutions are often obvious, but task environments are forgiving of mistakes. A wide range of behavior solutions are optimal or near optimal. If you cannot find the optimal solution, it could be a near optimal solution. So that is also a good solution. So a different behaviors, that is a wide range of behavioral solutions, are optimal or near optimal, and one can learn by trial and error. That is, you perform a trial, you find a solution, apply it, and if it is not working, then you refine it and again applies, and this process continues, and we call it trial and error. Reinforcement learning, to be more likely to repeat actions that generate good results and less likely to repeat acts that produce bad ones. This is called trial and error procedures. When do heuristics fail us? Ambiguity of feedback. The trial and error method does not work, the decision is not repeated, or feedback is ambiguous. By ambiguity we mean that is not clear. So when the feedback is not clear, then the heuristic solution may not work efficiently. Complexity of decision. The problem is not intuitive. That is, your insight of the problem is not complete, or you have simplified the problem while the problem is complex in nature. So beyond our cognitive capabilities, beyond our understanding capabilities, in that case the heuristic solution may not work well. high penalty for mistakes. A small mistake could lead to serious consequences. Sometimes if you make a small mistake and the consequence is high, for example, if a worker is not very well versed with a machine and he commits a very small mistake and as a result that machine is damaged, so it can significantly cost the organization in terms of financial losses. So in that case, the heuristic solution of simply assigning that task to an ordinary employee may result in significant consequences for the organization. So in some cases, the heuristic solutions may fail or may not work. What is strategic decision making? Like in the marriage problem, for example, interview the first 37 out of 100 candidates, then continue interviewing and marry the first candidate that is better than the initial 37. That is, you first interviewed 37 candidates and after that you continued the interviewing process and married the first candidate that is better than the initial 37. What happens? This maximizes the chance of marrying the absolute best candidate. In this course, we will investigate models and frameworks for strategic decision making under uncertainty and risk. That is how you make a decision strategically. That is how do you make strategic decision under uncertain situations and under risky situations. So for example, in the marriage examples, in the first instance you first married 99 candidates and then you only were left with a single choice. That is, you can interview at most 100 candidates, for example. That was not a very good strategy. To strategically apply your decision, as an example, you can first interview 37 candidates, for example. This is not an absolute number. You can interview, for example, 20 candidates and then continue with the interview process and compare every individual candidate with the already interviewed 20 candidates and marry the best candidate that you encounter during the process. So this is a good strategic decision compared with the first strategic decision. That is, you first interviewed 99 candidates and then you were only left with a single option. So we will investigate and we will study how to make good strategic decisions under uncertainty and under risk. I think that's all for today. We will start in the next lecture with the leading and motivation. Thank you for your time. If you have any question, you can record audio or video or you can text me in the group for this subject. Thank you very much. Stay home, stay safe.